Super Mega Roster Update. This is the town, your one-stop shop for the Panthers roster updates. It is a beautiful Tuesday here, folks, and not quite as beautiful of a Tuesday for Hunter Renfrow, who was released, but that might be good news for Adam Thielen, who could be on the block, who could be on his way out, but Dan Morgan is standing strong. I was surprised to hear that Thielen even wanted to leave, or I guess that's what it's rumored. Thielen's the one who wants to claw his way out. I was surprised that happened. This guy's been the company man. He's quoted saying that he came back to play with Bryce Young. Well, I guess that was all fake news. I guess he was just saying that to say the right things. I don't know. We're going to talk about that at length later in the segment. I want to talk about this initial reaction, initial thoughts of the Panthers' 53-man roster. I was expecting more surprise. I didn't think they were going to release Jimmy Horn, for example. I didn't think that would ever happen because they have enough faith in him. And I could not possibly be convinced that they would let that guy go with the summer that they've been telling us he's having. Because no one really knows what type of summer any of these Panthers players are having. It's just social media clips. But if they let him go after pushing Jimmy Horn on social media every chance they get, I would have been surprised. I am surprised about this, of all things, Ryan Fitzgerald winning the kicking competition. Now, that might not last for long. He was a beast in college. 13 for 13 at FSU in his last season in college. He's a rookie. But all we heard this offseason in training camp was how he's missing on the skinny posts. They used skinny posts, not regulation posts, in practice. And supposedly Fitzgerald and Matthew Wright were struggling. And I think what's going on at the kicker position, it's such a good reflection of what's going on elsewhere in this roster, which is they don't actually have an answer they're comfortable with. Yes, Ryan Fitzgerald is the incumbent at kicker, and maybe they roll out into week one with him. I honestly think they should bring in one of these veterans. They should maybe bring in a Zane Gonzalez, Forks Up, Arizona State, or Michael Bagley, who's out there. These are guys, Mike K. lists. Matthew Prater, he's still in the freaking league. Matthew Prater, still available. I think they need to do something more at kicker, but I think they've needed to do something more at every position. They've needed to do something more at safety. They should have done more at inside linebacker. They should have done more at corner, at kicker. And my initial reaction to this whole 53-man roster is there's holes everywhere. There's holes all over the place. A Caleb Evans who got smoked on the route, I believe it was Scotty Miller at the end of the first half in the game against Pittsburgh. Scotty Miller went down the field, a 50-yard gain or so, put Pittsburgh into field goal range for that quick, easy 3 points at the end of the half. This guy's on the roster now. Safety Nick Scott, and someone has to replace him. Please. I don't think he should be on the roster in the first place. I guess he's an okay special teamer. Maybe a depth piece. Someone needs to do something more there. Bam Martin Scott. So they chose not to keep Chris Barnes, the linebacker who came over from Arizona, who played very well in 2022 with Green Bay and had a good career in Green Bay, signed with Arizona, where he largely has been disappointing. But I thought he did have a nice tackle early in the first quarter of the game against Pittsburgh. He came to Carolina late in the offseason. I thought he would have had a chance to make this roster. Clearly not. They're going with a Bam. Chris Barnes is out with a Bam, and in is Bam Martin Scott. Bam Martin Scott, undrafted rookie from South Carolina, who's made an impression. I honestly don't even think I've seen this guy on the field. And I've watched the All-22. I've watched the tape. I don't really remember Bam Martin Scott's preseason. I remember Jacoby Windman having a big hit. He got released. I always butcher the pronunciation. Claudin Cherilus. He had a few really good plays against Pittsburgh. he had some plays. The inside linebackers in general, Roseboom and Wallace, underwhelming preseason. And Bam Martin Scott is the fourth guy they're keeping. Darren Gant, Panthers.com, he does write, this group of inside linebackers is in flux as they'll be looking for depth and special teams help in the coming days. Martin Scott, the undrafted rookie from South Carolina, made an impression, but has the potential to develop. The group's in a flux. This is what Panthers.com is telling you, and I couldn't agree more. I think they're going to add someone. We'll go into players that I think the Panthers should take a look at, but Chad Muma, I really want them to sign Chad Muma. The linebacker from Wyoming, he looked like Brian Urlacher coming out of college in 2022, and I think the Panthers should give him a chance right now. I think he's better than anything. Honestly, he might be better than Roseboom and Wallace. He didn't have great numbers in Jacksonville. He was on the bench largely, I believe, but he has a lot of potential. He might be better than Roseboom and Wallace. He might be better than what you have. Isaiah Simmons is another name who I don't know. I don't know what Isaiah Simmons is, but listen to the point here. The point is they have all these holes on the roster, and they could have done something at safety. They could have done something at corner. They could have done something at inside linebacker. And they could have done this back when Julian Blackmon was visiting in March. Back in May when they chose not to make an offer on Jair Alexander. They had the opportunity to bring players in, and the bottom of the roster, there is no excuse to be rolling out a Caleb Evans at corner and Bam Martin Scott, who should be on your practice squad. Some of these guys, DJ Johnson at outside linebacker, another one. Why are they here? Why? Sure, you could argue having them on the practice squad. They should have veteran depth. They should have Julian Blackmon. They should have someone at inside linebacker. I kind of give them a pass because I know Josie Jewell's injury was unexpected, sure. You didn't think he would still be suffering from that concussion from December in 2024. You didn't think it would last that long. Okay, sure. You don't have an excuse at safety. You don't have an excuse at corner. Outside linebacker, you let Jadeveon Clowney walk. There's other guys available. Rasul Douglas signed in the secondary. I believe he went to the Dolphins on a 1-year, $3 million deal. These guys are a dime a dozen. There's players out there, veterans out there, and having veterans on the roster doesn't impede the Panthers from developing. It doesn't limit Lathan Ransom or Damani Richardson's ability to grow and flourish in this system. It's not limiting having a veteran safety on the roster. If anything, it's good. If anything, it's good because then you don't have to roll out some of these players. You don't have to go out and have, whether it be Yemem or Scorton getting a lot of snaps, or Corey Thornton, who you're going to be reliant on in the cornerback room. You don't have to roll these guys out. You can wait for it to genuinely happen. You can wait for them to earn the snaps in the field. And you could have set yourself up for success. Now we have to wait until the waiver wire. Now we have to wait for people like Chad Muma to go to the Panthers, for them to make a claim on him in waivers. You have to wait, again, for this roster churn, for other teams to release players so you can scoop them up. And they did the same thing last year, and they should be above that this season. They should be above that this season. They should be above the roster churn. That should be left in 2024. Heck, at inside linebacker, you could have kept Shaq Thompson. He's in Buffalo. They're talking about him reviving his career in Buffalo, Shaq Thompson. And you even had some guys that I think you could have kept. Chris Barnes, like, you're really going to sit here and tell me that Bam Martin Scott is, a lock for the 53-man? Maybe they kept him because they didn't want to waive him or let him, let other teams have a chance to sign him. Sure. I guess I could be argued into that. If that's the case, we'll see if Bam Martin Scott goes down to the practice squad or whatever. Maybe there's going to be a little bit of, like, Panthers.com says a flux at the position. Who knows? Still, I think they should have done more earlier. Now, who is available? Before I give you an Adam Thielen thought, before I go on a rant about Adam Thielen, who is available? These are some names I pulled. So I'm pulling like all day. I'm just sitting there on X. I literally have Mike K's Twitter open right now just to make sure nothing's happening, because it's like I need to get back to the couch. I need to pour me a bowl of popcorn to start watching this stuff. All right. Mike K hasn't said anything, so we're good to go. We're good to proceed. And these are the names that the Panthers should sign. These are the guys that they should bring in. I have compiled a list of players that I think would be good fits. I'll give them to you quickly. Isaiah Simmons. Okay, he's had a million chances. He seemingly gets worse year over year. There was one play I watched him in the preseason. I go, I've never seen a linebacker do something that dumb on the field. But he has all the talent in the world. He always will. He's a Clemson guy. Bring him in. What do you have to lose? Give him a chance. Maybe he figures it out. Maybe there's something in the water in Charlotte that gives Isaiah Simmons superpowers to develop the instincts he's never had at the pro level. Chad Muma, I talked about him earlier. I think he was the Brian Urlacher of Wyoming. He was the Brian Urlacher of Wyoming. Bring him in. Bring him in. And let him grow. I think you need a third linebacker you're comfortable with. So Roseboom and Wallace, I thought they got trucked in that game by Nick Chubb. I think Nick Chubb just made them look like completely inferior players. And Chubb at this point in his career has been hurt, hasn't put a good season together in a couple seasons now. He was running them over, and that concerns me. I don't think the top floor for this inside linebacking core at this point in the season is high. And I say that because I don't think they can bring someone in who can change this group. And I don't think Roseboom or Trevin Wallace, I think they could be starters, but I don't think they're going to be, they're low end starters. So go and get the best available player who looks to beat Muma at this point. Go bring him in. And I hope I'm saying that right. If I'm not, I'm going to continue to pronounce it Muma because that's cool. Muma. Kyle McCord released by the Eagles and Mike White released by the Bills. And then this name, another quarterback, Tyler Huntley. One of these quarterbacks. Go and bring someone in. Dalton was hurt earlier this offseason. The elbow. Last season, he was hurt. The thumb, I know that was a aberration. It was a car accident that injured the Panthers' backup quarterback or starting quarterback at the time. You need someone in the system. I think you'll learn that week 3 in the preseason where you throw Bryce Perkins out there. And Bryce Perkins, I feel bad for him because he doesn't even know the offense. He's been here for 3 days, and next thing you know, he's playing an entire half of the preseason. Like, those are valuable reps. They should be better than that. They shouldn't have to go source a quarterback at the last second. Like, it's ridiculous. Go and keep one of these guys in your system. Cleveland has a million quarterbacks. They clearly don't care about it. And Tyler Huntley is now on his way out. The Browns released Tyler Huntley. Maybe he could be a name that the Panthers sign and bring in. Bailey Zappi, released by the Chiefs. He could be a cool name too. I liked this veteran name, Tony Jefferson. Loved him in college, a safety, a veteran. He was upset when the Chargers released him. I think a veteran safety, Sam Franklin Jr., also got released, I believe, by Denver earlier this afternoon. Go and sign someone like that, at least so you have an option that's better than Nick Scott and that's not a rookie Lathan Ransom or Damani Richardson. Much like an inside linebacker, it might be tough to find high-end talent at this point in the offseason. They should have signed Julian Blackmon for that reason. But at least go and bring someone in. My goal is Lathan Ransom is starting week 1. And I think he's earned that largely. I think he's been miles better than Damani Richardson. And we don't want Nick Scott out there. Collectively, we don't. But still, you could use some depth. Bring him in. Why not? Now, honorable mention of the plethora of roster transactions today. Shai Tuttle released by the team. Good riddance, Shy Tuttle. It's a moment of growth. I'm not all pessimistic. I'm majoritively optimistic. Shy Tuttle is gone. He's gone. And did not work, was a historically bad nose tackle last season. You finally have Bobby Brown to fill those shoes. You're comfortable with what they have in the interior of the defensive line. It's a moment of growth. You don't have to keep Shy Tuttle around. You don't have to hope he's a bona fide starter. You can get him out of here. And all the best to Shy Tuttle, who hopefully he can play in position. Hopefully he finds somewhere and a scheme that makes it work for him. Adam Thielen. I was playing that song. You know the song. Only know you love her when you let her go. And then you let her go. Oh, oh. You know that one? They're going to regret letting Adam Thielen go. They are. I'm telling you. 1,000 yards in 2023. Bryce Young's leading wide receiver since he's came into the league. And quite frankly, I'm upset that they're even considering letting this guy go. The Panthers have invested everything into the offense. The Panthers have invested the 8th overall pick into the offense. They built the offensive line. They just re-signed Taylor Moton, who's going to be 32 after the season. They're in win-now mode on the offense. The Panthers are in win-now mode on the offense, whether you like it or not. Letting your best receiver over the past 2 seasons go for a 5th-round pick is complete Bush League bullcrap. They should not even consider this. Unless it's a 3rd-round pick, unless it's something that's worthwhile, please get out of here with that. He's your starting slot wide receiver. He could be your best wide receiver on the field week 1. Adam Thielen could be your best receiver on the field week 1. I'm not saying T-Mac's not going to be 1,000 yards. I'm not saying that Xavier Legette's not going to figure it out. I'm not saying that Jalen Coker won't be great. As it stands right now, Thielen is your best guy. He is the one that makes it work. He's made it work in the past. He has rapport with the quarterback. I think T-Mac's going to need a couple of games to get his feet wet. And you look at the beginning of the schedule. You have Jacksonville, you have Arizona, and you have New England. 3 winnable games. I need to do a reaction video to Joe Person talking about the Panthers having 6.5 wins, and that's sounding right to the Panthers insider. I think, no. That's wrong. They need 9 wins, and if they're going to get 9 wins, what they're going to have to do is win early and often. And Jacksonville is the team they should beat. Arizona, the quarterback plays Call of Duty, and the team, quite frankly, is duty. New England, you should take care of them. You're not going to do that with T-Mac making rookie mistakes, with the timing being off between the wide receiver and the quarterback. And it might be early on. There's got to be growing pains. We all know it. Keep Thielen so you avoid that. You have a guy you're comfortable with that has familiarity with the quarterback. It's that simple. More and more, it seems that Thielen is the one that wants out. I guess his wife posted something about how they're in God's hands and the future's in God's hands on Instagram. And some people are extrapolating that as being Thielen's wife praying that they go to Minnesota. There was the report, Adam Schefter, reporting that Thielen supposedly wants to go home to Minnesota, which I find absolutely ridiculous, quite frankly. Are you kidding me? This guy, yes, they gave him the boost in the contract, sure, but the whole offseason he's talking about how he wanted to come back to play with Bryce Young. That's the reason he's here. And the minute Minnesota comes walking, it's like, catch you later. Bye. Oh, come on, Adam. Please. That's unbelievable. They shouldn't let him go. They should keep him here. That is it for this segment. Thank you so much for tuning in. We have more for you coming this week. I'm thinking Thursday morning. And I will be back on X soon. I promise you that is coming. I was actually going to do my first X post tonight, but I kind of want to do it live. I kind of want to do it on this video. I think that'd be really cool. If y'all watch me post on X, because I will be back. I'm out there somewhere. Many of you probably know that I'm out there. But I have not been on X in a while. I'm sorry. I'm trying to to figure this thing out, because I was meeting with someone earlier today, and just a friend, and met him out, and he's like, you need to get on X. Like, look, he does really big podcasting stuff, and he's big into this, a lot bigger than the Tone, and he goes, you need to be on X. You need to be on X. Because the people are on X. This is the Tone.